Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sunday. Rise and shine. Get your coffee. Get your water. Start the day right. So, this stream here is going to be a return to last night's stream, and like I said, it's going to be a two-part thing here. And yesterday we talked about a couple of very, very important elements when it comes to trading, and you were here. And you heard it here first. We had a pattern, all right? So primarily we were looking at this pattern. Let's just get right into it, make it short. Good evening, Clever. Good morning, Clifton. And thanks for sharing the link on YouTube. Impromptu. I didn't have time to. Just logged in. So let's look at the magic of this chart here and extract a lesson or two out of this, because I think this gives me a very good place to defend my argument against stop losses. Last night, we had an entry of 1,700 contracts based on the calculations of risk that allowed us to trade that contract based on the account size. We did all the calculations here. Remember this? Okay. So what transpired overnight? Let's take a look. We had a pattern and we had a breakdown. We immediately went on to talk about how a pattern like this, even though you have a breakdown and a close below it, we speculated whether this is a real wedge or not. And if it was one, then two things could have happened here, and most likely will happen here, and they did happen here, which was we either continue retracing, cooling off, continue falling down, and the target was right here. These two yellow dots represent the max distance to where we can go before we start thinking about buying. So this is a take profit area, and we had a one. Alex, greetings. Maros, Alan, you guys are awesome. Welcome. Short notice, I know, but it's a follow-up to last night's video. So we wanted to take profit right here, and that is still the case. We placed a stop loss here, all right? And I showed you how, if you're a beginner trader, this is what you would do. You put a stop loss here. Okay, your risk to reward ratio was entry, stop loss, trade, right? And that gave us about 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio, which I thought was great, okay? But that did not happen. So overnight, when I saw this wick over here, right, I pulled back against it, and then this one, and then this one, and then this candle, I thought to myself, you know what? That stop loss is most likely going to get triggered. For people without much practice, the uninitiated ones would need to absolutely put a stop loss here and nowhere else, because there's no other way for them to calculate their risk to reward ratio without using a stop. And placing a stop somewhere out in the air without using some sort of resistance line or something is dangerous. Now, you know, shorting, you know, we're in a mini bull right now, right? Everything is just going up and grinding, but here we're struggling. And look, we fell down and we started grinding against this line, and we said that this might happen. But then we also, at the end of the stream, I don't know if I should like bring the stream in here so we can actually witness it, but I don't think we should. I take it that most people have watched the stream already and sort of got the gist of it. We talked about stealth and maneuvering our way around the chart and the order books in a way that doesn't make us stick out, and also playing risk. We talked about a very nifty trick here where we would actually add to the position size while maintaining the stop loss at this yellow dot. We would add to the position size while keeping the same risk profile at 0.1x, which would still give us a loss if triggered of about $50. So when these candles start moving, I said, you know what? We're almost topping out here. So in my experience and how I trade and how I sort of throw out these advanced tactics out there, we said that, well, we didn't say it, but I thought to myself, I'm not gonna have a stop loss here and lose $50 on that. Why? Because we're like struggling. It's going up, but it's struggling. And I said to myself, I'm gonna start averaging out. So instead of the stop, what I did was I removed the stop, and the average price ended up being, it crept up to 11,000 contracts. And the entry price ended up being at 44,534, which is somewhere around here. So basically the top of this wick over here. And then I just waited. I waited, and it's been very slow and kind of dangerous here. So nothing too crazy. 17 hours later from our last stream, we're now taking profit, and we made 0.38 on this account. Now, what would happen if do you see what I'm talking about here? What would happen if I had a stop here, a hard stop that would make me lose $50? And the daily total would be at minus 50 for the day. Yesterday we had like 1.10, which, by the way, we should throw out into the Discord because it's our mutual trade. But if I had a stop loss here, we would lose $50 or even more, maybe 70, depending on if I kept putting stops on these highs and they kept getting taken out. But overall, right now, where the price is the same where it was yesterday when we had our entry. It was basically within this space right now. Now, there's a mini support, and you can see it right now. You can see how we had a retest here once, twice, and you call that support. So the lesson here in the title of this video is that lesson learned, and I was hoping people would say, got him. He finally lost a trade, no matter how big or small. But I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. It did not happen. As a matter of fact, it was a profitable trade, and through management here. So a couple of things, right? Momentum waves are kind of going down. This thing is going up. From my experience, I know when we have greed candles like that, sooner or later, we're going to have a spill. And the spill is going to take care of all of this, meaning it is expected that it will go at least back down to here. We don't know when that's going to happen, and we also cannot predict the top. But in our prior analysis, we said that as soon as we get close to R1 on the monthly, that opening a short would make sense. With my eyes closed, I would go short at around this level at 1x, and then yeah, this is a live, Alex, for real. This is a live trade from yesterday. We're just wrapping up yesterday's video, okay? Guys, we're catching up. We're going back in time to yesterday. And since we're so close here, I thought, like, instead of taking a loss here, the distance here is not that significant visually. You know, if I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start getting into serious shorting business at around these levels, but I might as well start now. And so averaging out here made more sense than using a stop loss. I know a lot of we have critics that say, you know, this guy does not advise stop losses. Now the thing is, there's a time and a place for a stop loss, and there are other areas of the chart where it doesn't really make sense and you're going to get chopped. Now most of the time price is chopping. I would consider that even this uptrend here is so mixed that to me it is quite likely struggling, and we can expect like I said, a leg down, a spill is what we call it. That will wipe all these hard-earned gains. Like all these people who are struggling and buying here, you could be making money, sure, but any time there's a red candle, that could be it. That could be it, and you get trapped inside of this long red candle, which is could happen anytime. All right, so the lesson here is that we have a pattern, we broke out, and now we're trending below it, but at the same time, price has been going up. Now that's the typical nature of price action, where traders identify a pattern and they don't understand that price can hug that pattern and attempt to make it look like it's not there, even though it is there. The greed is going to, so the breakdown was here, the greed is going to push it, and then eventually the price will just like, it'll create a divergence because of this. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing the divergence materializing, and it's gonna hit us hard soon. We have a spinning doji over here. We have the first red candle on 12 hours, and these things tend to last. So now we have, for the first time, a real proper, now if this candle closes red, then we can expect this to keep going lower, but not without a chop. So here's the lesson here, and that is, it's your choice. Do you want to use stop losses like the books and the classical trading mechanics that you have picked up along the way suggest, or do you want to experiment and have something that gives you an edge? What's our edge here? Besides the overall analysis that we looked at, and we have projected that we will be chopping through the green zone and not exceed it. We have seen this on MarketSpy before, when we have a baseline reclaim, retest, but it just keeps grinding lower and lower and lower until the pressure builds up and this thing is just going to explode in the opposite direction. We have seen those kind of setups on lower, on different time frames, in different time, different space, different era altogether. But here we're dealing with one, and immediately I can tell you that, okay, since this position was getting a little heavy, it was at 0.1, not 0.01, but 0.1 leverage, which wound up being 11,000 contracts. As long as we're in the red, we should expect it to dump, and 90% of that position size is now out. Okay, our entry sits 500 points above where the price is now, and it is expected that we start creeping back up towards it, and it doesn't matter. This is the original size that we had yesterday, aiming to make a $100 trade from here down to this line here. Now this is going to take a while, obviously, based on what you see on MarketSpy, but at the same time, it's important that we take this opportunity to learn from the pattern, because the pattern is legit. Look, right? It's right here. Even if we now move this line down to about here, we can see the breakdown occurred here and the retest here, and now we're falling. So depending on how you drew the wedge, it's still playing out. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it alone, because this is what we had originally. We thought that was breakdown, the breaking down of this price line occurred over here, and then we grinded up against it, which is very weird, right? But if you flip the chart like this, it's natural when we have certain attempts to go over. And then eventually when it happens, now you can see there's a mini double bottom over here that could potentially take us lower, and we start trending towards this 40 level. Okay, so now what about stops for, so in essence, we still have the position, but now our entry is so much better than this stop at the yellow dot over here. This was our original stop, our original entry, and price went against us. And we chose to not use a stop. We also chose to average in, and we chose to instantly take 90% profit when our target that we were aiming for to make $100 on this 1,700 dollar contract position, we actually exceeded that and made double that amount overnight. So yesterday's stream, as an example, on a Saturday, and we'll do these kind of like every weekend when we have time to relax and just not be too official or entertaining without the intros and all that jazz that we're known for. We'll try to do those, and to get the point across in practical terms, this is what I promised to you yesterday, and this is how the chart is playing out now. Now, what if this starts going up because we have a 50 EMA on the 1 hour, 50 EMA bounce, and it goes down here, 43.5, bounces away from here and starts going up. Fine, I'm already set in building a short position. You can see I have 100,000 orders allocated to a short that is waiting above this previous high, and it starts about at 45.8 and higher. So I'm going to keep this guy indefinitely now, but I also start looking for setups as price consolidates or goes lower. The buy box is clear, and we're looking at 41,400 as our immediate point of interest, and then the ultimate entry that goes slightly lower down to 40.5. So pretty cool stuff. This can bounce. It bounced once over here, twice over here, 3 times over here. Chances are that this may be the last bounce. But if it is a last bounce, then it may not be as powerful as the prior bounces on this 1 hour chart. And so with that in mind, I'm keeping this. I took 90% out. I made the target that I wanted from yesterday. And now I'm going to allow this to sit. Funding rate is favorable for shorts. And if this thing starts to curl up and go up, then I'll be aggressively adding to a short position. Now we're seeing news articles talking about how shorts are getting liquidated, this and that. Everyone is bullish. What bear market? We have, companies throwing money at DeFi and crypto in general. But that's a whole different thing altogether. For us intraday traders, we have a very specific need, and that is to identify a direction and then potentially, if we're wrong, make it right. Okay, do not accept that you were wrong and take the loss, because there's a way out of this and it takes a little bit of time. I expect this to bounce. I'm not longing because it's a vulnerable area here. Quite decent support, and we'll push the price by 1,000 points or more, most likely. Based on this, the cloud is still thick. It's the first crack in the shell. So we're not looking for this to go lower. As a matter of fact, this is soon going to be sitting at our entry point, and this will go in the negative again. I will keep adding to it because that's what makes most sense to me. That's my chosen strategy, because we have been pumping non-stop and we didn't really have any decent pullbacks, and the pullbacks that we had were absorbed pretty quickly. I don't like it. I think that's a little too greedy for me, and so I expect another pullback down to retest this area over here, 39, the cap of this first, and then we'll see. It'll probably bounce. So this is going to take a long time to play out. But the most important lesson that we can extract from yesterday's stream is using classical technical patterns that we identify on the chart like this. And when we have a breakdown, the majority of people go short. They have a retest confirmation and they go short. Okay, but we explained that this will actually grind up against it, take out the high where the majority of stops are, then it'll consolidate and probably then will give us a nice little spill. So voila, we have ourselves a trade. And I want you to take a moment, take a deep breath, close your eyes and realize, not analyze, and ask yourself a simple question. When we're talking about risk, is smart management versus a hard stop where you're like, oh, I don't know, I'd better be safe than sorry. Which one's better for you, right? Because you need to determine that. And if you look in your journal, hope you have one, and you look at your entries and you realize that your stops keep getting hit, then it's not a question of how do I choose better stops. It's a question of, do I need them? And how can I learn to identify areas where I don't need them? Places where you don't need a stop. Price has been pumping, consolidating, and going for a run, and then starts moving in this manner, which is a little struggle. It's not really bullish price action. It is, you can argue that it's bullish. Lack of sellers, or since we're in the weekend mode, a lack of liquidity and people who have finally found some time from their normal lives. They finally got their Saturdays and Sundays to sit down in front of their battle stations and just kind of give it a shot. You know, throw some money on Bitcoin because it just pumped and I might miss out. This happens. Now we have created a tiny little gap from below here. You know, and we might revisit this area on Monday to close that. And of course, people who have bought here will sell early to get out of the losing position. And when they do sell, they'll be forced to essentially buy back in at lower prices. That's how it works. So Bitcoin is driven by derivatives most of the time, not pools of cash that comes in from spot traders. So I think when they finally do that and get out of their positions, it'll be time for us to buy. So the complete opposite of what you're reading, seeing, and hearing. We have to wait for that moment. And I wanted to, first of all, this is something that you can almost expect Bitcoin do over the weekend, right? Where things don't really make sense. Yesterday we started talking about how this price action was in the category of being very annoying, not so clear. But I chose to be, and if you had shorts piling up over here, your job was to take profit on any one of these decent red candles according to the ATR values. But it's interesting, isn't it? You have your pattern. You can't really argue that it's not a rising wedge. You have your breakdown, retest, and then a grind against it that is convincing you that, hey, it's not over. And so a lot of people freak out and get out of their shorts over here because they're starting to pick up on those articles coming in saying that shorts are getting liquidated, bears are getting stomped. You're an intraday trader, you will have an opportunity. There's a window in which you can satisfy your short fantasies, and the only thing is the stop losses that were located on any one of these highs. If people wanted to time the top and say, okay, I'm going short now, I'm going short now, I'm going short now, I'm going short now, and every time they had to put a stop loss on the previous high, these guys here are now seeing for the first time in this consolidation range, mind you, for the first time we have high, high, higher high, higher high, higher high. This is the first on 1 hour. I don't know, what color should we have for? Make it red. Make it white, whatever. All right. So now this is the first lower high and a lower low. And the next chapter begins. Now, if the price is obviously not going to obey this pattern immediately because it's just the beginning, it's just the start. This can easily overtake this and produce on a bigger time frame something like this, where this would be considered a higher low and this would be considered a higher low, which would push the price higher, and all of a sudden we have a higher low. But I think by that point we will definitely start to get a little tired, and this is where I am going aggressive into building a short position for two reasons. Number one, I want to hedge and save my account's value. I think closer to around 45 if I can manage, 55 tops maximum. Like if I had to sell one Bitcoin at 55, between 50 and 55, I would feel great. So I'm going to hedge it in and I'm going to hold it for a little while and see if Bitcoin's price starts moving against me above 55, 60, and 70. I'll probably hold it lock myself out of trading for about 2 weeks, maybe a month. See how the next candle opens. If it's still bullish, I'll just take the loss, but not really. I'll take that Bitcoin and immediately dump it on the spot market. The price starts dipping, I'll take that cash and I'll buy a little bit of more Bitcoin and kind of balance it out. And now all of a sudden I'm back to the same amount. It's just going to take a little longer. But building a short position here, you're not planning on getting stuck, but you might get stuck. And one of the strategies of not using a stop loss is playing the waiting game. So you have a timed stop and you also have a no stop strategy where you're just going to wait it out, because you cannot time where the market will top out or where it will bottom out. So you keep averaging in the approximate location where you think there might be a significant reaction. And it's definitely not here, not yet. So just a little example for you guys to try to understand of what is happening and why is it happening this way and what can you do in the future. But if you wanted to absolutely short and you were convinced that this thing was going to go head lower, and you might be right, but you just keep giving everything back to Bybit on every stupid stop loss, you're doing everything right. You're measuring it. Your risk is coordinated. Everything is calculated. You're looking at the dojis. You're looking at rising wedges. You're looking at the baseline reclaim and it's bearish, but price just keeps pushing higher, making you think like maybe nobody wants to sell at this point. Like maybe there are no sellers left. Maybe this is really a bull market or whatever. All these like speculative questions start arising in your head, and now all of a sudden you're lost in the charts and you're making bad calls. Now, if you take that initial first loss, you'll attempt to do it again and say, I'm just going to go short a little higher. You'll perform the same calculations and say, I'm going to throw my stop here, and each and every one of them got eaten. Okay. Now, for people who are more conservative and they're now confirming a lower high and a lower low, they're like, okay, why would I short here? But now I'm seeing my choice, my weapon of choice here is the 1 hour time frame, and I'm seeing that I can now consider shorting. Finally, for the first time in this little consolidation range, I can start considering shorting. The problem is when this got produced, okay, we didn't know if it was going to be here or here or here. Now we know it's here, but it's the biggest, fattest candle that already dropped. And your entry here is questionable because, first of all, your stop loss is the furthest away ever from all of these setups over here where you could have gone short. Your risk to reward ratio, you're that much closer to this area. And if you wait for further confirmation, your entry is just gonna be horrible and will probably be the entry for a long setup, not short. if you wait. But to wait for a confirmation means you're missing out on the potential reversal here, and you don't have a participating position, not your full-blown sort of, I understand what's happening now, the charts are clear, guys, let's go. You don't have that, but you still want to participate. And in last night's stream, we talked about how you play yourself as a participant in the market, how you calculate and just throw in a couple of contracts and then just sit it out because you think it's time for it to cool off a little bit and you want to capture that opportunity before it happens. So the only way to do that is to actually risk manage your money well on the as it keeps going against you, and spending some time away from the charts, because it once it starts moving against your position, against your entry, it'll probably last for a little while. Okay, it's not going to be an immediate, you made a mistake too early, you already recognize that, and you know if you throw a stop loss, it'll probably get eaten. What happens if that stop loss gets eaten? So you have two choices: give it back to Bybit and lose $50 or $100 immediately right there, and like, man, let me try again. Boom, second time it happens, you're giving it away. Or you're thinking, I'm a little bit early, and instead of trying again to get a position in because you're convinced there's a short, and like I said, it's certainly looking like it's primed, it's time for it to cool off. And so you're set on that idea of shorting, but you might be early. So you tell yourself, I'm going to start building a short position. Not creating one right now, but building it. And that means throwing in a few contracts in here, marking your area, where price may go, and then saying that, look, if it keeps creeping up, I'll keep building it up, up to 1, 2x. But you have to play it right, because while others are trading, speculating up, down, getting hit on stop losses, you're not. Building a position means you get to skip all the fun, and now you have to be on the sidelines a little bit for maybe a week or two because you're trapped in a short and price is $1,000, $2,000 above your entry. And you don't do anything because you look at the daily and you're like, that's just one daily ATR candle. So that means when that candle finally goes down, it'll probably reach your entry and go even lower. So you want to wait a little bit, and now you're giving it more space. So from here, this position, we cannot, this was the plan. We're still within the framework of having our plan, and it's in motion right now. But once this tops out, you don't enter a position here. You will do it above. So we have predetermined areas of interest, like right here between R1 and R2 is when you start getting aggressive, building that literal 2x, 3x position, because trust me, price will crap out somewhere in this region. We just don't know where exactly. The guesswork and the speculation, leave it for these Las Vegas traders and gamblers on YouTube. Your job is to be patient. And when there's no trade setup, like I said yesterday, we had no signs of short, but we were just playing it off like it's close by. It's gonna happen anytime. And so I made the choice of not using a stop loss, and for the millionth time, it paid off. And in the beginning, long time ago, when I would use stop losses, and sometimes those were my decisions, other times those were requested chain of command orders of how to execute a trade, and those would have stop losses, or you know, they would be soft and be like, no, start building a position. We don't know where to throw a stop loss. So it has to be very obvious. It has to be before you throw a stop loss. I really am only using them when we're looking at like macro levels, when we're like, you know, and once we start moving away from them, we start seeing like larger wicks on bigger time frames. Then we start thinking about those guys, stop losses, like, you know, I'm gonna throw one in here just in case. But for scalpers, due to Bitcoin's volatility, you probably already know that it's not really profitable, and you can throw all the arguments against trading without a stop loss. I'll let the chart speak to you for a second here. I have nothing to say. It works. But between this strategy, this approach, it's not even a strategy, this approach to trading, there's only one thing, and that is your emotions. So thanks for the vote of confidence. If you understand what I'm talking about here and you're seeing it. But yeah, everyone else who uses stop loss, you got eaten for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. We're still here. And that's what you want to aim for. Title of the video, lessons learned, but they're positive lessons. And this is how you do it. Now, sometimes when there's a break where you have averaged in 2x or whatever, and it just keeps ripping, and you hear a piece of fundamental news and there's the previous 65k top is breached, right? And it's just like rocketing. You just click market close, you take that loss, okay? And if you had a whole Bitcoin and you multiplied it by 2x leverage, well, you just lost whatever, whatever Bitcoin's value is now versus where you got into that short, and or you can sit it out. Couple of traders on our Discord, not going to mention their names for privacy reasons, confidentiality, but some of them got stuck sitting at 29k short. When you and I, guys, in the platoon and everyone else, we were trading 60s, 50s, they were sitting on that. Why? I had the balls to tell them to wait and throw a break-even price. And when this thing is going to fall, and eventually will, you're out of trading game right now, but don't give your Bitcoin back to Bybit, because that's not how the market works. And guess what? Our fellow trader was able to come out of that losing position, and all he had to do is just wait. There's a lesson in there. Two things. Want to be active? Take the punches. Your stop losses, they'll hurt you, but you can jump right back in round 2 and attempt to win this time. Or you made a bad decision, you sit on it, meditate on it, work it, average it, and just, you're not part of the party, but in the end, you still retain that Bitcoin. And if that matters to you, then yeah, that's the only way to do it. There's no other way. There's no other way, especially on lower time frames where the majority are trading. It's very rare when we have a stop loss area. And of course, looking at the trend, when the trend is trending, MSX is trending, everything is trending. We're above the 200, above the 50 moving averages, above the baselines, above all of them structurally. Placing your stops at critical levels on an uptrend, yeah, that works. You can take bigger risk there. But when you're trying to time the top, we're talking about that specifically, because a lot of people think that, price moved up a little bit, maybe it's time for it to go back down, and it might not. But this is your answer to the problem of how do you trade when you don't know the direction of the trend. You don't know if it's consolidating or if it wants to continue. Great lessons in here. Let's take a little chiller. All right, there we go. Yeah, I need to reiterate that point. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm not saying you should not be trading with stop losses. This is just an illustration of what could have happened and what did happen with the same setup where you wanted to go short and you had your stop loss. I'm just saying, if you had a stop loss in there, you're done. You got eaten overnight, twice, 3 times, 4 times. But I'm still here, and I'm trying to show you this so that you can maybe consider experimenting, moving away from your normal trading. Hey, if you're having a lot of success using stop losses the way you do now, and it's not frustrating you, by all means, continue. My job is to show you something fresh, something new, and leave you at that. What you do with this information is up to you. This is not me telling you what to do. This is me showing you a different angle to things and showing you charts and showing you like what would happen if you were to use stop losses versus now no stop loss at a specific price level, such as the one that we're in right now. So please do not misinterpret and say, oh, he wants us to completely get wrecked, because that's far from it. What I do want you to do, however, is find an edge by modeling things, seeing what works and what doesn't. And like I said, once again, if stop losses make sense and you know exactly what to do with them, when to use them, I think it's great. Keep up the good work. But if you think that you need a stop loss every single time, you're decreasing your win rate significantly. I'm convinced. And if you look at the charts, look at the setups, your convictions levels, and especially if you journal stuff, you look back, you'll realize most of your losses come from when you forcefully close a position or when your stop loss gets hit. That's it. Let's get some water. Chat, and if you're above 1x leverage, of course. All right, if you're anywhere close to 5x, yeah, you got to use a stop loss and deal with the consequences. Thank you, Lizzie Bird, for sure. GX, YX, pronounced Jeezys. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Poland! You guys are up and about. It's not even late. The night is young. Welcome to the stream. Rador says, funding account, earning month on a running short. Yeah, you could totally have one that is responsible for extracting the funding fees. From the market. Crypto multiplier. That is great to hear. Shorted the setup from yesterday. You're welcome. Although, did you have a stop? 'Cause if you did, that short is dead. The next short attempt is also dead. The next short attempt, you're having some luck here now. Good morning, Los Angeles. Rise and shine. It's morning time. Screen freeze? No, there's no screen freeze. I hope there's no screen freeze. Should be okay. Hey, you guys, let me know if there are issues with the screen. Should be fine. Looks fine over here. Welcome back, W Earp. It's been a minute. It's great to see you here. Crypto Ranger, simple man, far from a myth. Maybe. Maybe a guru. I don't know. I'd rather not be. Guru's got a bad name to it. Hey, I like Radosh's version. We call each other senseis, okay? You're a sensei, you're a sensei, you're a sensei, you're a sensei. Which makes me a sensei too. My dear senpai. Had my stop loss at above R1. Poof. Let me just. Oh, okay, daily R1. Never mind. I was thinking like monthly R1. That's. That would really sting if it hit. Daily candle. Dude, we're trading these ranges, right? Like if that's where we're forced to throw our stop losses, then might as well just go and trade spot only. So if Bitcoin pumps by $2,000, then that's all you're gonna lose on the value of that Bitcoin. You're actually gonna lose Bitcoin too, but yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Sensei. Maros. That's right. We're all sensei. That's something. There's always something out there we can learn. So what's, welcome, Oprah. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here too. That's amazing. I know what you did there, Lucifer. I know exactly what you're up to. Okay, so what's going on with this chart now? Like, what's next? I don't know. Let's scan through it. Well, it looks like we're headed to. So I have 1 hour right here, 12 hour here. So I say we go down to about 43.5, and then we have a mini bounce from there. Start chopping through it. But look, this is the daily, or is it weekly? Yeah, this is daily CPR right here. You see the lines? Here they are. The glowing, fiery orange lines. And if we talk about like this candle here, maybe it's a reversal doji. It's a rising morning star. I hate those names. 3 white soldiers. That racist as shit. Like, what do you mean 3 white soldiers? Why do they have to be white? The candles are green. And then you have 3 white soldiers. 3 black crows. We're going down. This is like, dude. I don't know. Whoever came up with this, they gotta go. They gotta go. We need new, fresh trading concepts here, but candle analysis, my least favorite. Doesn't make any sense. But let's assume that, you know, the market is looking at this. What they're looking at is this. They're looking at this. And if we follow them along, then they will attempt to push this price lower. Now, this is only the first stage of a little consolidation. So expect this to go down, immediately retrace, go up, another one down, retrace. This is going to be here, and we will have a baseline reclaim somewhere around here that's going to fail, going to go up. It's good. So we're in for a little chop solidation here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm saying. That's since yesterday I said we don't really have a setup, but dragon skin once, 2 times a charm, and the 3rd time it'll fail. But we still have lots of liquidity and support down here. So anytime when this thing drops, I'm buying into it. This is my EQ1 right here, and this thing can go as low as like these levels over here, 40. And in this blue box, I'm looking for a trade or a bounce because it's, you know, it's going to consolidate. So 12-hour chart. Hey, what's a $1,000 trade? Nothing. Like from here to here, that's like 3,000 points. And yeah, that's up for the taking once we start hitting lower, which is not going to be now. It's just gonna dip a little bit, then go up a little bit, dip a little bit, but she's gonna start consolidating here soon. So right away, we're aiming at this level here. Now this crossover happened here, right? And this can drop really, really low, even down to like the very bottom of this baseline here. Sorry, the dragon skin. And 40 is a buy. Between 41 and 40, that's a buy area for me. So I'll make sure to throw a decent number of contracts in here, and just like that, close the trade like 30 minutes later if that happens. So be prepared for that. If it starts slowly walking down and this starts to compress, then the expected moves, volatility, it's telling us that volatility is gonna die off. So 1x ATR values on lower time frames max, 15, 1 hour, 2 hour maximum, 4 hour. Maybe you can throw a candle in there. 4 hour candle is gonna. But yeah, so to better prepare ourselves, we're looking from here to up to here. HC sits around EQ1, and that makes perfect sense. Starts going flat over here towards the orange line. So we're 41.2 down to about 40. I'm buying it. And I also have absolute short orders stacked closer to R1 and higher on a daily ATR, and I'll get aggressive up there too. You know. We have a hot pocket here. That's the first sign of things to come. 12 hour. And that's gonna occur somewhere in this region. So I fully expect it to dance around these levels here. And if we close below the CPR level, right? If we manage to close below it, yeah, we're definitely heading lower, and we're buying somewhere around the 40s once again. There may be a short-lived dip, so just be ready to scoop it up when that happens. But it's going to take its time. You can see it on the chart. You can see it on MarketSpy, what it's showing you. You can just easily see what is going to happen, and you can prepare yourself for that. So on daily, this is nice and thick. So any dip into the dragon skin is a buy for sure. Let it be swift. 2,000 points. That's about where we want to take. Yeah, I might as well take profit around there if you're short, and then start buying into it, because we're gonna have lots of volatility here. EQ1 fails, we fall back on EQ2 as the next heavy area to stack contracts. Would be between 41.3 and 41.1. So that's the initial stage, and then down, you know, we don't go lower than that. There's a value line right here, so we're definitely dancing around here, but we're scooping it up right here. We're scooping it up. As a matter of fact, make it fast, Bitcoin, because if you do make it fast, then maybe we can just do it now if it happens, because sometimes you get those very aggressive spills for no reason. It just goes right, and you want to be a part of that. Daily fib levels situated here, 23. So right now, looking at the pyramid over here, right, below baselines, but it's with a yellow X. I don't want to really touch it right now. It could play out, but there's too much going on right now. I want to touch it. However, if it goes down to 23 around here, I'll buy one. I'll buy me a pyramid right here. Just, this is telling us that there's a potentially a chance that this might actually spill one more candle lower. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, but it might. So be ready for that. Go to limit and throw, well, the number is right here, glowing. Let's make it 4.3. Round it off like that, and we'll go with about 20, about 0.4. So your leverage is literally right here. You're like, well, what leverage is that? It's 0.45 with 20,000 contracts. Here it is. So let's go and do that right now. By the way, take profit will automatically set a take profit point, and you can have multiple take profits. So the first 20% will automatically take it at plus 50, and the second one we're going to throw in plus 30, a bit more aggressive, and then this one's we're gonna make it 100. Make sure there are no spaces. Then goes crazy. 110 and 150 is it's quite aggressive right now, right? 150 is going to leave it at 40, and that's 4 of them. Go along. Just wait. Hopefully it happens fast. I like this view. I like how this thing just kind of shows up over here to the side while we're at the desk. It's my favorite place. The whole platoon laboratory here, underground bunker. Yeah, I can see that you see half of the chart. I know. It just shows you like the portion of the first split screen of the chart, and then the actual the command center right here, the plus 50s, plus 30s, and all those numbers. I think it's normal. Normal. All right, all right. My camera is off. I'm currently picking my nose as I wait for this trade to play out. I'm just kidding. Technical issues. I gotta find 30 cameras in here. 30. Different angles. But they all point on my face. And this particular one, the cell phone camera, is bugging right now.
CR, I see you're having troubles with your stream. Allow me to take over and fix this for you, while you go and grab some coffee.
Thank you, Tonto. I was trying to figure it out myself, but I guess a robot is a robot. He knows better.
Don't worry, CR. Just give me 5 minutes.
Sounds good. Gonzo, are we done? What's going on there, man?
Almost ready.
Well, hurry up, because
It's done.
That was... Thank you.
You're welcome, Sailor.
Good job. We're back, just like that. What do you know? Okay, so patience. We're running out of patience here, right? Is it gonna hit that level or not? Like, how long is it gonna take? 2 hours? We don't have that kind of time here on the stream. Let's play a game. Let's cancel the buy order that's sitting over here and price is just refusing to hit it. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna go to our ladder. By the way, real quick, yeah. So, let me just look at this real quick. 42 and 4,700 thereabouts. Okay, just about here. So this blue box right here, like the retest. Looking good. You see that divergence forming? We're closing this in 7 hours. So for sure, she's dropping here. We're buying. Ooh, so much pink. What happened to our rising wedge? The wedge. We use it for educational purposes. We don't really need it. Gonna keep DSR running over here and see if we can breach 4 hour. That's it's a good chart to have. Okay, just gonna come down here. R1 green box on the weekly. I want to stay above this level. So because we don't have that kind of time, we'll do a 1 hour ATR based trade. But we're gonna up the ante a little bit. We're gonna go 40,000 contracts. There's only a part of it will be filled, but we want to have that ammunition ready, ready to deploy. Here we're gonna change these two pluses because we're buying. And we're gonna change these for some fast-paced action style trades. 15 increments of make that 30, and we'll go for max distance of 70 right here for the 20 remaining contracts. I think this is in line with what we're trying to accomplish here. Now let's see, in case of emergency, if this shoots all the way down here, we have a daily candle which we can easily average out here. Okay. Best case scenario, everything goes according to the plan. 1 hour ATR 600. Let's bring this up to about 2 ATR. Get closer to 1,000. And that's a 4 hour time frame. Yeah, sounds about right. And we go and buy right now and just wait. Also, in my settings over here, so if you go to settings, you will have a very, very important parameter here which says limit take profit enabled, order or position. So I usually have it on position, but this time I'm going to switch this off to order. Why is that? So what will happen is that this original entry, 700 above, will remain, okay? It'll remain in the books, and the only profit that we take is on the extras that we throw in using the ladder system over here. Okay, so whatever gets accumulated here up to this point, this number of contracts, those are going to be sold based on these numbers over here. Okay. I think. I don't know. I don't care. It's doing its job. Yeah, we have to cancel this. Let's do it again because it remembers the position. That's why it's taken away from it. But no, it's actually correct. We're taking profit on that little contract that we had running. So that's appropriate. That's fine. So in this case, let's switch it back. Let's go to the settings over here. Go to position, so we can get rid of the whole thing. Whatever gets picked up, we get rid of that. There she comes. Bring it down to 41. Let me go and change my batteries real quick. Okay. Bring it. Looking good. You guys, if you had a short last night, you're probably at break even right now. You haven't been averaging in, and you got a position. I'm eyeing this 50. Want to hold it for it to go higher. So what I'm saying is I would normally take profit around here. Now. Normally. I'm gonna set this to 500. Yeah, I know I doubled my position here. Josh, welcome. Review from last night's stream. That's all. The results from last night's stream. Stop losses. We talked about cons and pros using stop losses. And what happens when we don't. Spoiler alert. We're profitable without stop losses. Most of the time. So the idea here is that, you know, when we have that mega drop like what we had from around 60K, let's just say it's a straight line down to 30, you know, like that's the kind of trade where you're holding it for a little bit, and then days later it becomes evident that you can't really average it out, and so you have to take profit or take loss in that case. But if you're trading and you're selling into the market every time you get a chance to actually sell, when you make profits, you will be sitting on top of a lot of dry powder that even if you take that loss, the fact that you have been selling consistently, like DCA, dollar cost average selling, so every time you make profits, so I have yet to get rid of this batch of 1.14, right? Is growing up to 0.14. So I'm gonna dump it no matter what the price is. I'm not gonna wait for it to go higher, lower. Just as soon as I'm taking this out from one exchange to the other, go to my fiat on ramp, dump it, exit into fiat, and I'm just gonna sit on that and use it. So let's say, like, what if this thing drops from here and goes all the way down for whatever reason? Like there's a flash crash, some black swan event, and it just keeps running. So first of all, if it goes all the way down here and doesn't bounce, I'm automatically taking that loss. But because I have been selling, the loss that I take from here, from my 1x position, is not going to affect me because I probably made more than this loss. So those kind of losses happen very rarely, but most of the time you're pretty safe. Most of the time it's very well structured. You can see from the charts, it's very well structured, and these small tiny fluctuations, they'll kill you on stop losses. But if you can figure out how to play this without using an excess amount of stop losses, then I think you should be okay. That goes for all markets that are highly volatile, that are high in beta, things that move aggressively. I wonder what happened to one of our. We had a trader that went by the name M4BA, maybe. Their name was maybe with a 4, like M4AB, maybe. They were trading altcoins right here on Bybit and on Binance as well, using the strategies in MarketSpy, Market Enemy, Type 1. They're just killing it for months on end. I haven't heard from them in a while. I haven't seen them on Discord either. Life happens. But anyways, what I'm saying is, altcoins, they produce lots of volatility also, and there are great opportunities there. It's just that altcoins, they don't, once they drop, they stay dropped. It's very rare when you're going to see them come right back up. It's going to take years. Some of them just horrible. So there's no hope. You have to have a stop loss because that thing is not coming back. You have one run, 2 runs, and then it's over. But something weird happens, like Dogecoin. That's a different story. But yeah, okay, so we're having that expected bounce right now. I don't know if it's actually going to stay, but watching that 50 EMA right there. Also, immediately right below it, a developing monthly CPR. Blue box is a buy area. And let's take a look at this one metric that I keep talking about. The crossover. See this? When we get that crossover, and if we stay at this level by the time this happens, we're gonna have a nice juicy drop towards this level. 40, 39, you're gonna see it. Not immediately, but it nears it. It nears it, and this cross represents, like I mentioned yesterday, this uptick in volume from here, where price crossed over the 50 moving average right here. That is going to get mirrored over here, and as a bull signal, this is actually a bear short signal. We're gonna drop like a rock towards that level there. Or maybe's position. I saw his BTC position open on user position tab. I need to check that function out. I don't really have it enabled here. I need to set up a couple of things, and I'm gonna create a separate channel with a platoon. So you guys will be able to watch it when I have a position. And I'm gonna link it to this particular account so that you know, we'll keep tabs on it together. Maybe you can mirror it. Okay, so they're trading. They're trading still. Okay, great. I don't know. I'm not. Discord, it's great. But sometimes it's easy to get lost in it and not know what's really going on. Who's around, who's not. Well, a lot of people have gotten quiet over summer, and I think it has something to do with summer. Okay, let's go. We're dropping. The trailing steps are way over here. We have like 2,000 points. Retest this cap over here, maybe even lower. But we're on track so far. If for some weird reason this next candle opens and goes higher for, which is unlikely, it's just, I don't see it. But if it does, I'm shorting the life out of it. I already have them set up over here. And that's going to happen at R1, R2, between these two right here. Right into the blue box where I thought that would be the real resistance. So let's see. Let's see if that's true. That's where I want to hedge. That's where I want to go a little bit more aggressive, because I know, first of all, I'm going to take half of it off the table right away and keep the other 50K running for a little while if we go up there. But come Monday in the immediate term, I think we're buying lower. We're looking at like 40s. For sure. Oh man, you guys been teasing me with those battle stations in Discord. I'm gonna join the ultra wide master race soon. Pretty soon. That G9 is coming. I'm gonna evaluate it, take a look at it, see if it's good for trading. Dual monitor setup without the bezel in the middle. And if it's great, maybe we'll have one sweepstakes or something, you know. But it's such a beast, such a sweet piece of hardware that I'm gonna make you guys work for it. It's not gonna be like the video, leave a comment, and you can win it. Chances of this, there are not that many traders. We're a small, tight group. Chances of winning are like very high. I see other YouTubers giving these giveaways and they're pathetic, and they have like 1 million people. It's like, good luck. But here, you never know. Very easy. Very easy to hit the jackpot. And we're gonna play a few rounds of try to come up with a setup, how to organize that. But Hey, if you guys are using ultra wide, let me see an emoji in the chat. Put like a thumbs up emoji or something. I can see by numbers like how many people are actually on an ultra wide for trading. No one? Okay. Be the first then. The first. Alright guys, main point got across. Everything off my checklist. We're done here. Tomorrow, I'll see you guys in about 6 to 7 hours from now. We're gonna have a stream and come back to this because but the plan here, I'm gonna let these guys run down to this level, right? That's my first buy the dip trade. Next, we have orders stacked from here to here on a daily ATR, and the blue box is between 42 down to 4,500. I'm accumulating here, buying it, okay, 100%. Here, short term, I have a couple of small trades. Once this one's done, we'll see if it actually goes down a little lower, then pumps away from here. So it's a small number of there's 40 contracts, 40,000 contracts in here, and I expect them to be closed within a very short distance over here, and I'm gonna sleep on that. I'm gonna keep this thing running. Bybit Pro will take care of it. That's the setup, and I'm looking at the orb, which is likely to bounce from here, go up, and then cross over and go down, go up again, and we're finally going to see some of these orders start getting picked up. So that's the plan for intraday into tomorrow. Let's have a great Monday, make a little bit of money, be happy, and stick with the plan. This chop solidation here, don't go with a single order size here because you can get stuck. But know that this 50 area is a little bounce, so you can scalp it right now if you wish to do so. I'm not seeing any weakness on long-term trend flows on all time frames, so that remains to be seen if we'll set up for a continuation, but it's unlikely. I think it's a buy the dip situation, and shorting way higher, way above these levels here, closer to R1 and above. Okay, and rewind the video, go for the first 30 minutes to see the point of this whole video was to sort of come back. It's part 2 of last night's video, and if you haven't watched last night's video, you should. Stealth trading, how to stay low, how to size properly, how to stay under the radars, and how to manage your risk, how to calculate it, and what to do with stop losses here. A little bit of philosophy on traditional rising triangles, falling triangles and all that stuff in there and what that means. And other than that, I'll see you shortly. Let's go get some rest, and you guys have a great day ahead. And if you're going to bed like me, have a good night. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up, appreciate it. Share it to Facebook, Twitter if you want. If not, it's all good. Cheers. Cheers, cheers. Lucifer Taratu, thank you guys. I'm gonna get this right. Curity Bagaret. Curity Bagaret. Curity Bagaret. There we go. Now I can sleep in peace. That was bugging me because the font is so small. I don't know what I was reading. Ernesto, thank you. You guys are welcome. And you are appreciated. Clifton, thank you. Cheers. Ending in 1, 2, 3.